All right.
I love the fact that whenever I start the YouTube video, as I have just done, Jeremy is always saying something. It's complete blank, so I just got the video started with you going, all right. Hi, YouTube! All right.
You do it on purpose.
I'm just good. Hello, YouTube. Welcome back. We apologise for the gem video not working. I blame anyone who's not me, really. Yeah, Smiley McGee down there.
Anybody but who's in charge of the actual recording of the video.
Yes. I'm just a conduit. As much as I'm excited to
How loud am I, by the way, guys?
Normal.
Very loud, I think. I'm going to turn down a little bit.
And as much as I'm excited to talk about the 3Ms, I am considerably more excited about our next episode.
Ooh.
Do you remember what it is?
Nope.
Do you remember what it is? Since I just
like
told
Range
you like
Hill, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I remember what it is.
Ulysses.
Flying across the
But
galaxy.
they already know what it is.
I don't care. Well, I already told them at the end of Gem. I said what it was.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, but they didn't see Gem.
This is true. It's just details, Jeremy. Details.
Sure. I'm recording now.
Okay. I shall start recording then. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep, there we go. Do we need to clap, Jeremy? Can we clap?
Yeah. Let me clap. You do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clap on 1. So 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're in sync.
How was that on you?
We were in sync.
She clapped? Oh, yeah. That's free. She's frozen again.
Oh. You don't need to see what she's doing.
Yeah, was I not in sync then?
I think you were a little after, but then you always are.
It's redundant because I can't sync it up on my end with me because then I end up talking through whatever you guys are saying because I'm about 5 seconds behind you.
Well, these things are sent to try us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I've
so
organised my desk a little bit. I've organised my drink so that I'm not going to get any bubbles through the actual podcast.
I just have to try not. I'm drinking beer. I just have to try not to burp through the podcast. Okay, is everybody ready?
Yes.
It's a very nice. Okay, let's do this thing. 5, 4, 3, 2. And I played the wrong one. 5, 4. Let's try that again. 5, 4, 3, 2. Just realised something.
What?
I'm playing season 1. Credits.
There's a lot of behind the scenes in this one.
It was all going so well. Serial viewing.
H.
Serial viewing the. Where is it?
Small H.
CV intro 2. There it is. Harry. Sorry.
He gets to be on the YouTube video finally.
Harry. How much of that movie's left? Right, so aren't you supposed to be downstairs in the shower?
I'm gonna have to edit this bit out.
The internet's gonna see how gross you are, and you can't hear me.
Well, it's 8:30.
Well, that's better. Right. Okay, I've got the right one.
I'm recording all of this as well.
Yeah, that's fine. You can go on the goof.
You can cut it out though, yeah?
No.
Okay. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time for serial viewing. Hello and welcome and joining us. Thank you. Blah, 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 blah. Hello and welcome and thank you for joining us on the couch as we watch a classic 1960s British children's television show. Hello, Jeremy.
Ah,
Hello, Jennifer. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me as I stumble over my words.
Henry's rusty.
I am. This week we have watched Mary, Mungo and Midge, which ran for 13 episodes in 1969, which makes this the second oldest show we've watched, only beaten by... Answers from the audience?
Wacky Races.
Wacky Races, which came out the year previous. This is an animated children's series which followed the adventures of a little girl called Mary and her dog Mungo and her mouse Midge. We watched episode 1 titled The Crane. If you'd like to watch it too, it is on YouTube. And in this, Mary, Mungo and Midge notice a crane outside and the two animals go on an adventure. It's exciting stuff. So,
very exciting.
Jennifer, this was one of your picks. Do you care to explain why?
Because it's one that the oldies always go on about that they watched. So I was interested. I mean, I've heard of it, and I'd seen sort of bits of it. I never watched it, obviously, because it's like about 15 years before my time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's up there with like Andy Pandy and some of the other old fart boomer
God.
TV shows.
Well, I mentioned this. We were watching this to a friend of ours the other night who we were talking to on the phone, and he was like, "Oh, I remember that one."
I'm that old.
Very simple, yeah. Basically, this was age appropriate for him at the time. Well, I usually go over what happens in the episode, but the fact that they notice a crane out the window and then the two animals decide to go outside is pretty much the entirety of it.
That's your whole small onion.
Yeah. So as the music expert, we'll just jump straight into the credits. Jeremy, what did you think to the opening credits?
Oh, the opening credits. I immediately thought Britain in the 60s.
Yeah.
With that whole Wallace and Gromit vibe. The whole that weird sounding organ. And it all being very, very grainy. But it wasn't bad. It was very sweet and wholesome, I guess, but there really wasn't anything interesting about it.
Jennifer.
Yeah, it was very twinkly. It's definitely aimed at preschool.
Yeah.
It was quite soft and simple and quiet and
Gentle.
Gentle. Yeah. It definitely reminded of like other preschool kids TV shows. Like,
Do you know?
it's very educational as well.
Yes. Well, this was
There was
from
another Henry's cat.
Well, this was from the same people that did Captain Pugwash.
Really?
Yes. So there are visual similarities between the two.
Yeah.
This might sound weird, but okay. So the logo to the show, it's just Mary, Mungo, and Midge, and it kind of swipes down. It's Mary, Mungo, and Midge. But what it swipes down from is this floral pattern in an oval shape.
Yes.
And watching the camera go through the town, and he's explaining what's in the city, and then you get to that thing, and you get a little sort of. All I could think of was a white ceramic bowl with that flower pattern running in a strip around the outside, and brown glass teacups. Do you remember those? They're very 60s, 70s, and I remember them being in my house, and it just I just got a visual from that.
Perhaps you were just thinking of your nan.
That's my mum's house, actually.
Huh?
It was my mum's house, actually.
Your mum. Yeah.
But it struck a kind of a bell with me, the opening, because it was almost. I wrote down in my notes. I'm fairly sure I've never seen that Mary, Mungo and Midge before, but I was still getting flashbacks to my early childhood because it looked so much like stuff I watched, like Captain Pugwash and the very simple 2D paper animation shows. And then the second note was, I watched it a bit more and said, seriously, was there a template for these? Because this just looks like so many others that I watched.
Well, it was obviously a BBC TV show, not ITV.
Yes.
And I don't know why, but it was obvious that it was that.
Very safe.
It was. Hang on. Sorry. There's probably some more.
It's fine. I'll edit it.
Yeah, and it was a template. It was cheap to make. It was kids' TV, so they're not going to spend any money on it.
Yeah.
And simple story, like you say, the little paper cutouts. But it reminded me of, as a little girl, and I know you had them as boys, is that you used to have a cutout dolly that you used to have flat.
I never had one, but I know
clothes.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And then you used to put them on and used to bend them over, and then you could change their different clothes.
Yes.
So
This
that style reminded me of that.
I get what you mean about it obviously being a BBC presentation. I think it's down to the narrator's received pronunciation.
Well, he wasn't that bad, but yes.
No, but it was very clear. It was enunciated very clearly. I think he may have been, I can't remember.
Mary, Mungo, and Midge.
I think he may have been...
Midge, not Minge.
Not Minge.
I think he may have been a newsreader. I wrote it down and then it didn't make it to my notes. I can't remember his name now. But it was apparently one of the first children's shows in the UK to represent urban living.
Mm-hmm.
The programme showed Mary having adventures in a busy town as opposed to woods, forest or other rural settings. And the two animals, a dog and a mouse, were chosen because they would be familiar to town dwellers and you wouldn't have like the random array of badgers, squirrels and
cows,
ocelots, whatever. And this was done by a chap called John Ryan, who was a children's author and a cartoonist, and he had already created Captain Pugwash, as I said. And he was asked to, and this is going to make you laugh now that we've watched it, he was asked to devise something bang up to date and utterly contemporary.
To be fair, though, I think he did a good job, like with how it looks, because what you're saying about the urban living, it did make me have that train of thought in that it was set in a block of flats, and I was like, that was probably quite new for the time.
Yes.
Especially in somewhere like London.
It was very new, and I definitely had reminiscence of Call the Midwife when all the brand new blocks of flats are going up in the mid 60s, and this would have been late 60s, so they're all brand new flats. And I think that's why they chose it, is because not a lot of children would be living in those, and it would be new. So up to date, contemporary. They used a lift to get to their house and up and down, and then also building it.
I did have a little bit of a chuckle with that, and the fact that I'm pretty sure none of the tower block flats in London look quite that nice and pristine and clean, and have working elevators.
So they're brand new. Now they don't look like that. They're disgusting and got manky cladding all over them. But they were all brand new. That was I thought, I had a little chuckle to myself as well, as that they're all brand new and all sparkling, and they're made out of this new concrete and everything. But really, in 5 years' time, they're literally going to be rotting, and everybody's going to be dying of
Yeah.
mold spores.
And Asperger's poisoning.
Yeah.
Asperger's poisoning?
Asbestos.
That's not it.
Asbestos.
Asbestos poisoning.
It's different.
That's something completely different. But anyway, the rest of the town itself actually I thought looked quite modern as well. Just in the intro, when you come around and you see and he explains that, there's a bridge that goes over. Obviously it's not London, but it is London. And it looked like up to date. I could see that whole thing intro being used for something that come by it now.
It was like a lot of the late 60s, early 70s. It was very clean, optimistic, city living. We're looking to the future. Blocks of flats are new and trendy, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Builders are old school builders, though, just having cups of tea and not actually doing any work.
I'm fairly certain that was their first cup of tea of the day, and they'd only been working for about 25 minutes.
Yeah. And they all look like,
builders.
They do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although,
go on.
But living in a high-rise flat, or does 8 stories count as high-rise? Yeah. A high-rise flat in a town or a city, because, as you said, this was obviously London, although it was a town. She's never seen a crane before.
Yeah.
I mean, let's have a look at what's that? It's a crane. Oh, well, if we look outside, I'm sure we'll see a crane. Oh, look, a sodding great crane right outside the window.
They don't draw the curtains. They're scared. She's got a fear of heights.
Do you know what it is? It's because her eyes are portals to hell.
Yes. They are. I saw that every time she leant out the door. It was so scary. And she was missing an eyebrow. There was something going on there.
I've just remembered what it reminds. I've just had why it reminds me. It reminds me of Charlie Says. That same. Then they weren't paper, but it's the same slightly artistry. The big, massive eyes, and it's like really not very intelligent kid, but she's got an intelligent animal. I mean, I get that she's probably supposed to be about 3.
Oh,
so
I
she's
got older than that.
Well, 3 or 4.
Put 6.
Oh, I 7 or 8.
No, why is she not at school?
All right.
She's very polite.
Why is she living with a talking dog?
Well,
oh no, so she's 7 or 8, but she's insane.
No, I mean, I used to talk, when I was little, I used to talk to my animals and they used to talk back. It's a cartoon.
When you were like 25, yeah?
Well,
I didn't have any pets then.
She looks like a very sensible girl and the spawn of Satan at the same time.
Yes. Both those things. And I think the whole animation style, all the character designs, and the fact that it was so fluid because it was filmed, not animated, I immediately felt really uncanny to me. I was watching it and I was like, this is too smooth, and they all look slightly creepy. But it kind of wore off, and I was like, oh yeah, they've probably filmed it instead of doing a traditional animation style. But it just looked, I don't know, maybe that's me showing my young age, and that that this kind of style
it wasn't
just
polished.
a little bit alien to me. Well, no, it seemed too smooth, but because I was expecting it to be animated, not actually filmed.
I mean, I could imagine back in 1969, someone watching this and going, "Wow, that looks really good."
Well, yeah. I mean, back then they had puppets of Andy and Lambs.
Andy. Well, this was Mary Mungo and Midge was the first realist preschool children's program, so there wasn't anything fantastic about it. Well, apart from the talking dog and the mouse, but it was, this is the world. This is a building site. This is a toy shop. This is whatever you want to call it. And
I get that.
Screened at lunchtimes, so it was a when the kids come home from the nursery kind of deal.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have specific kids. It was a few years later that you had kids TV from 3 till 5, or Saturday mornings they just put a bit of kids TV on at certain times. I did get Charlie and Lola vibes as well.
Oh, I liked Charlie and Lola. No one else liked it.
I don't mind Charlie. No, it's all right.
You'd be interested to know this, Jeremy, that even as forgettable as the theme tune was,
Right.
so the opening music was titled "Mini Walking," and the
Right.
last one was, and the closing theme was called "Mini Movement," and they were composed by a guy called Johnny Pearson. Have you ever heard of someone called Johnny Pearson? I'll be
Name
surprised if
sounds
you had.
familiar, but
Well, he
not
was
really.
a British composer, orchestra leader, and pianist. He first appeared on the Top of the Pops in January 1965, playing piano with Sounds Orchestral on "Cast Your Fate to the Wind," which was in the charts at the time. In 1966, he then took charge of the Top of the Pops Orchestra. I didn't know they had an orchestra.
Me neither.
They got an orchestra after the Musicians Union forbade miming on televised musical performances, so they had to get an orchestra in to provide music. So he contributed up until something musically, up until the 900th episode of Top of the Pops in 1981.
Wow.
It was his arrangement of the Led Zeppelin's "Whole Lot of Love," which was the theme tune of the show for most of the 1970s.
Fair enough.
I did put in my notes. This is very orchestral. It actually reminds me of Peter and the Wolf. So each character had their own little tune.
Yes.
So, like Midge was the mouse, and he played the flute, and that's what his tune was. And it was cheeky, but the dog was old manish, slow.
Yeah, slow.
Yeah,
Fat.
I did put Mary looks stoned. But yeah, I got that whole
What year did this come out again?
69.
9.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say then because like the style of the music had it come out like 65 would have been quite progressive, but it's pretty average. I guess it's progressive. It sounds a bit 70s,
It does.
but it is it is indicative of that.
So we're introduced to Mary, and she is building a tower with some blocks, and Mungo is helping her by pushing the blocks across the floor with his nose, and Midge is doing the typical mouse thing and rocking out with his flute in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Which was quite fun. And they
A
have a
very creepy sounding flute.
yeah. Apparently that's the only song he knows.
Corresponds in a really creepy reverb way.
So they're talking about how she's building, and then they get onto well, that's a crane. Mungo seems to be the smart one out of the three of them. And so they look out the window. They start talking. Oh, look, a crane. And then the two animals are like, well, we should go look at that. And Mary's just like, yeah, all right, bye. Have fun.
Yeah.
Stay safe. I'm staying here. My handlers won't let me out of the room.
But yeah, it's not safe for small girls, but for a dog and mouse, it's fine.
Oh, that did make me laugh. They went when they first went on to the dog and the mouse. They press the button on the elevator and they go downstairs and they end up on a building site, which is just outside the door. And I wrote down, now remember, kids, don't play on building sites, even though we all did constantly.
Really?
Even when we were getting public service announcements on the TVs in the school saying don't play on building sites, children, but they're fun. I'm gonna go play on it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid and dangerous. Only stupid people played on building sites. Some of us just stood on the outskirts and were the shout for help if something bad went wrong.
The innocent bystanders.
I was militant bystander, yeah.
I spent quite a lot of time on building sites.
Yeah, you did.
And I'm fine. Yeah, so as soon as they reference, because they stand there watching the crane going up and down, so okay, the mouse they're going up that. There is no way they're not going to end up on the crane.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Bosh, there they go, they're on the crane. And I thought Midge did a particularly good job of controlling the crane, considering he's 2 inches taller than a mouse.
Yeah. and incredibly strong.
Yeah.
I have that too. But man, that's a strong mouse.
He has a great theme tune climbing up that crane, though.
I don't
I love that
remember.
little scene. It's literally just like jazz drums, but he was like and then like doing the whole
Yeah.
like maze thing where he was going around like. It was quite good.
I may have missed that because I was too busy writing Spider Mouse.
Yeah,
Down.
pretty much.
And that's it. Really?
Well, we must say that this was made before we had health and safety and inspectors, when dogs and mice can run around in a building site, and builders are quite happy sipping their tea.
An unattended crane with no sort of locking or safety features or anything.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this seems pretty accurate to the 60s, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I don't know if I found it quite interesting looking at the backgrounds, especially because they're moving around the camera pans across the building site, and then in the back you've got, what is it, Kelly's Cakes van and stuff like that. I thought it was quite interesting.
House agents.
Yeah, house agent.
Yeah.
That was a weird. They could have of all of the high street shops you could have picked. Sweet shop, brilliant. House agents. Mummy, what's a house agent? I have no idea. I mean, seriously, grocers,
Soliciting.
bank, anything.
Yeah,
it
post
was
office.
very much an educational show. In that, because they were. I think they did a better job than a lot of modern shows, because I was like, this is a crane. The crane lifts heavy objects from the bottom to the top. And then 5 minutes later, the crane lifts heavy things from the bottom to the top. And it was repetitive. They kept repeating the information. And I can imagine a rural child who's maybe never seen a crane is going to come out of there and is going to understand that what a cement mixer does. It's going to understand, he mixes the cement.
That's true.
And it's all this. It's very repetitive, but it was delivered in that very gentle, la da 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 way.
Yeah. Like it's a storybook.
Yes, that's a very good way of putting it. It's a visual storybook.
It's like when you had the storybooks that you could slide the images across, and like the pop-up books and stuff like that. That's what it pretty much reminded me of throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
I always do, but I have a look to see what other media is out there. Video games, obviously there isn't one for Mary, Mungo and Midge, although it could make a good platformer, like a retro like Paper Mario style platformer where you could
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You say that about every game, every show.
Yeah, because it's a cool game. I want ninjas flying out and fighting, and Mungo like throwing Midge at them.
So I did find a board game, which was released in I couldn't find a precise date. It was just early 70s by a company called Pleasure Products, which just sounds.
That's
It's from a more innocent time. Pleasure Products these days, they send out packages in unmarked brown paper bags.
The vibrate.
That vibrate.
And they played the flute so well.
They did a Mary, Mungo and Midge branded Snakes and Ladders game, which is very exciting.
Cool.
And then apart from that, I found they released an annual by Odham Books between 1970 and 1974, one each year, which had the usual collection of stories and activities all centered around their adventures. There is rumours that there was one released or planned for 1975, but I couldn't find any reference, and I had to dig for these ones. There is not a lot of information out there about this show. And then there was a 1970 classic pop-up book. You know, the whole, as you said, pull the slots and something pops up.
Yep.
That was released by Littlehampton Book Services Limited, which is a very sensible 1960s, 70s publisher's name.
Littlehampton. Doo-doo.
It's the Littlehampton Book Services. We don't do anything silly here. We're going to release a children's book, and it's going to be educational and informative.
Oh.
So I can imagine, as a child of today, or the youngest out of the three of us, Jeremy. You're not even a
Thank
child.
you. Yeah.
How does this compare to? Would this have kept your interest as a child? Would this compare well to what you were watching, or were you already? It wasn't exciting enough.
I mean, like really young,
Yeah.
because I used to watch stuff like Kipper the dog and
Kipper's
Thomas
the
the
best.
Tank Engine,
Kipper is awesome.
Yeah.
Thomas Less.
and like this sort of. So I mean, like if I was even younger than when I watched those, yeah, probably this would probably do exactly the same for me as it had to a child of the '60s.
It's colourful, nice, gentle music.
Yeah, I mean it's aged well, I think.
Yeah,
Apart
it's
from
not-
like the slight grainy and the
I
the quality, I think the actual content and what they're trying to do for the kids of the time, the viewers, I think it's does exactly the same now as it does then.
I really agree with you. I think this is held up really well. Consider it's for
Mhm.
Yeah,
it's for a preschool audience, so we're looking young, 5 at the oldest, and I think it's really good. I can imagine
hmm
children today just sitting and watching it. A little bit of chill out
Yep.
times. Nothing too heavy. Nothing's gonna.
End of the,
apart from
yeah.
I mean, and like we said, apart from the slight playing on building sites and messing with things that you shouldn't mess with, but then again it said don't mess with them because Mungo ended up getting flying. So yeah, I think this does the job. It's educational for young children.
I agree. I think it's held up really well.
Hmm
Well, that is all of the trivia I have for this show because it's surprising. Like I said, I never consciously heard of this. I mean, I'm sure I may have caught an episode or something at some point when I was young, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be have been overshadowed by so many other shows. Like it's Captain Pugwash, its creator's other show. Because I remember Captain Pugwash. Don't remember this.
Yeah.
Captain Pugwash was older.
I
So
don't- I don't remember Captain Pugwash. I don't think I've ever seen it.
I guarantee you
And
have.
here we have.
And you've probably heard the jokes because it's Captain Pugwash and they're sailors, and the running joke is that there was a Master Bates and a Seaman Staines on the boat. Now I can't even remember if that's true or not, if there really was, but that was the running joke.
Right. But I mean, I've heard that just as much as I've heard this, and I guess they're about the same for me. If you had to recast this,
As an action movie or just as a modern kids?
just with any actors, actresses,
All right, well
Hollywood,
we'll take a character each.
sure.
I'll do Mary.
Okay.
I think Mary should be Melissa McCarthy.
Wait, who's Melissa McCarthy in?
She was in the
Girl.
yeah,
I remember. I
she
know
was in
it,
the new Ghostbusters, the girl Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Her with the whole wide-eyed, dressed exactly the same as Mary.
Oh, we're acting it out as well.
So, yeah, she's gonna live action version or a CGI. Right, so there you go. I've done Mary.
Mm-hmm. I'll do Mungo then,
Go on then.
because I'm dressed like him apparently. I think. I mean, the voice of Kipper would be too obvious.
Yes.
I can't remember who does the voice. It's someone famous.
It's Martin
Thank you.
Clunes.
That was it.
Yeah.
Skip with the dog.
Um.
Not on the list.
No, it's too late.
It's too recent.
Yeah, I'd love to do Kipper. I'd say Kenneth Branagh. You can just hear it, can't you?
So Melissa McCarthy, Kenneth Branagh as the dog, which leaves Midge for you.
I
Would you
think Jack
recast as
Black
Midge?
would make an excellent Midge.
If we were casting the things, Jack Black would make so much money off him because we just cast him in everything.
Yes.
But yeah, I can see Jack Black like dressed like with mouse ears, doing that his like crazy Jack Black dance, playing a flute in the back of a toy truck.
Like the Tenacious D movie where he's dressed as a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
On shrooms.
Who gets to narrate it though?
Ooh.
Charles Dance.
James Earl
yes.
Jones. The Charles Dance would be good too.
Yeah, I like that. Definitely.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Yeah, no, Charles Dance. I agree with that.
So
Wait, so who would win in a fight?
between what Mary Mungo
Mary
and Midge?
Mungo, Midge, and Jem the Holographs.
Honestly, I don't trust Mary.
She's
shanked
got some demon
Jem.
inside her.
I think the Gem girls would be like, okay, Synergy, let's get a plan. Oh, I'm being stabbed!
This is a knife.
And that's just from Midge with his flute.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just summons rats, hordes of them.
Don't worry, Mary. I'm feasting on their flesh.
Last one.
Go on.
I was going to say Mungo versus Henry's cat.
I don't know. I think Henry's cat would outsmart him. Because Henry's
really
cat
think so?
Henry's cat is so lazy, he wouldn't want to actually exert himself in a fight, so he would just talk his way out of it.
Yeah.
Or feed him Christopher Rabbit because he's an irritating shit.
That one I see more. I think Mungo seems like such an old, grumpy old dog. That
He is
he
an
would
old
get,
man, isn't he?
Yeah, annoyed.
Yeah, but he's a hellhound as well, so...
Spawn of Satan.
Spawn of Satan. That's it. I think Mary's the Antichrist.
They would explain why she's never allowed outside.
Oh.
And she just brought these demons to life.
Yeah.
There's
So-
another Netflix series there.
So are we going to go down that whole road, which is might make it a really dark, gritty reimagining with Jack
It's a
Black?
horror. Yeah, with Jack Black and Kenneth Branagh.
Brilliant.
Oh, I love it.
I've got one more piece of trivia. You never see Mary's parents' face. Faces. There's two of them, but you never see their faces. They're just anonymous from the chest down.
I was going to say, do you see their
Yeah.
legs like in old Tom and Jerry cartoons?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
What?
What would be the purpose of not giving her parents character?
So you can
Not
kids
needed.
can project their own parents onto the characters, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the builders
Like
got
if you-
faces.
Yeah, but they were generic.
I don't know where they were from.
They do look like every builder. Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
They weren't people, they were a job.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Well, no,
Oh,
Did you hear that?
It's a
Did
noble
you hear-
profession.
Did you hear that, builders? You're not people. You're just jobs.
I didn't say that. The cartoon. In the cartoon, they weren't people. That it was a job.
But to
Whereas,
be honest, they did all look like each other, just wearing different clothes as well.
Did actually, yeah. And how much tea they were necking.
Yeah. The only thing they were missing, they weren't wolf whistling Mary's mum. Or anything like that.
That's why Mary's not allowed outside.
Yeah.
So, would you recommend this to a parent with a very young child?
probably.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah, exactly.
could, you think of a reason not to recommend this?
Not really. I mean, I'd probably want to watch the rest of the series as an adult, you know, because it is really old and like you do have
Yeah.
the plane on the
Crane.
in the building yard. Yeah. What's it called? Building yard.
Building site.
Build site.
Building site.
You need.
You do have the building in the site, but does he say the building site's dangerous or just that playing on the lift was dangerous? It's just little things like that.
But to be fair, Mary never goes there. It's just
Mary does.
No.
Mungo and Midge.
Mary does leave the house. She for the rest of the series, she's not trapped inside forever. It's just this episode.
But I know what you mean. I would have preferred, like, if I was a parent, I would prefer if, like, Mary had said, I'm not going to go down there. It's dangerous. You two
Can go if you want.
Yeah, but
But
it
that's
is
but they're
dangerous to go
animals.
down there.
I think that's probably why they go and not her.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
they're animals and nobody's dog and mouse is going to go and do stuff. They're kind of like
True.
imaginary. Everybody's imaginary friend went and played in the building site.
But there's nothing to say that a kid couldn't see them playing on the crane and be like, "Ooh, it's easy to play on cranes.
Mm.
Cranes are fun. They throw dogs around."
But then I'm thinking, yeah, I was just trying to think of kids' TV shows today. I'm sure there's stuff like that in there.
No, they're all
Paw Patrol.
ultra safe.
It's fun to be a firefighter.
Dress your
With
kids.
a
Yeah,
dog.
stuff like that. You know, you got Fireman Sam. He just runs into fires, and I suppose he's a fireman. But
Thank you for mentioning Fireman Sam. And I would just like to point out, whoever you are out there in the world who listens to Fireman Sam, our episode of Fireman Sam, there is someone out there in the world who's listening to that episode every single day, and we thank you for doing that.
But we have other episodes.
We do have. You should branch out a little bit and not just keep listening to the same episode over and over again. But hey, if you like it, you go with it.
Yeah, if you hear this, then you've already made the first step.
Well done. But thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes.
So, I actually found it quite hard to give this episode a rating because I quite enjoy, as I appreciate it for what it is, but it's not what I like. Do I rate it based on what I like, or do I rate it based on an appreciation for what it was trying to achieve? And I don't want to score it and then skew the scores for everything else, because if we rate this too highly,
I see a point. I think it's ultimately up to you and how you want to perceive these shows through serial viewing.
yeah, I suppose.
Did you want to find new shows that you can binge?
I did watch a little bit of another episode of Mary, Mungo and Midge.
I keep getting recommended on YouTube everywhere. It's like every video I click is just like Mary and Mungo Midge is playing up next.
Well, I saw there's an episode called The Toy Shop, and I was quite interested to see what kind of toys they would be looking at. So I started watching that and then ran out of time. But I'm not going to lie, I may go back and watch a bit of this show again.
It'd be curious. I'd like to watch it with someone who watched it as a child.
Our friend, you know who you are. If you watch this, can you leave a voicemail on our website and tell us your opinion of this show? You know who you are. So I'm going to give it a 4.5 rating.
Ooh.
Because I don't want to go too high, because it just doesn't compare to a lot of the stuff we've watched. But for what it was trying to do, I think it did it very well. So I think a 4.5 is fair, in my opinion. Jennifer, you're glaring at me.
I'm not. Is it out of 10?
It is out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to give it a 5. I liked it. It is better than some of the stuff we've watched.
It is a lot better than
It was doing exactly what it says on the tin. It was a preschool educational kids TV show. I enjoyed it. You know,
So
yeah, it was okay.
So a 5 from you.
5.
So better than some of the stuff we watched. Wurzel Gummidge, I'm looking at you. Chuck Norris, we're looking at you. Chuck Norris and Wurzel Gummidge, you're going to lose to Mary, Mungo and Midge. Jeremy.
Hey, this was better than Henry's Cat. Just throwing that out there.
I'm going to kind of agree, but I can't remember what I gave Henry's Cat.
Yeah, Henry's Cat was just a bit meh, whereas this did exactly what it was supposed to do. And I didn't hate watching it.
No.
It was creepy at points, but it was just very smooth. I don't know, slightly compelling. I think I'd have preferred it if there was a hand in each scene where you could see them moving the actual thing, like it was actually a book or something.
That's
like a white gloved hand that just goes zip.
That's a bit meta, that is.
Or something like that. Huh?
That's a bit meta.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would have made more sense to me. But I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
Ooh, Jeremy busting out the
Yeah.
big numbers there.
Because it was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate watching it, and it did exactly what it was meant to do. The only reason I haven't rated it higher is because it is really not aimed at me, us. I mean, we're not kids, but if a kids show can make me, it goes higher if it can make me really enjoy it.
Well, that gives Merry Mungo and Midge an overall rating of 5.3, which is a lot higher than I thought it was going to get. This is definitely the most educational show we've watched.
Yes.
And I think it's educational, and it was delivered rather smoothly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And Mary is a demon.
And Mary is the spawn of Satan. So, question for our listeners: have you ever heard of Merry Mungo and Midge before? If you have, if you watched it age appropriately at the time back in the day, then please get in touch with us. You can leave us a voicemail on our website, serialviewing.com. There's a little voicemail button on the right there. Or if you don't want to talk, and we will play you on the episode if you do, you can just leave us a little message on the contact form, or you can contact us directly at serialviewing@gmail.com. We really would like to know, A, if you've heard of this, did you enjoy it at the time, and would you let your kids watch it these days? Why wouldn't you? Big announcement, we are now on Facebook. So if you have a Facebook account,
amazing.
I know, finally. Well, it took me a while to get around to actually doing it, but we're on there now. If you have a Facebook, everyone's got a Facebook. Go check it out. We post the videos on there, episodes, pictures, little interesting bits about the shows we watch. Check it out. It's good stuff. Hey, so that was Merry Mungo and Midge. I am very, very excited. I think it's not my first episode next week, is it? Because I chose.
You chose
Chuck,
the first
didn't
one.
you?
You chose
Chuck Norris. Yes, this is my second one.
We have you to thank for that.
Yeah. We're very, very, very excited this because we're watching Ulysses 31, which was a classic.
Finally.
Classic. I love Ulysses 31, and I'm going to try and be objective about it. I'm probably going to fail.
Have you watched it before?
Have I watched it before?
Yeah.
I've watched all of them. Ulysses 31, seriously.
Okay.
That was one of the shows. It was like, it used to come on the TV after school. It's like, everyone shut up. I am watching this. This is my television.
I'll be interested. So this is like your nightmare. Like, Henry doesn't have many of these shows, so it must be something.
Bring it on. I will defend the show.
Ever since the conception of serial viewing, this has been on the list. So
it has. This is one of the ones that kind of got it going.
Yeah.
It's got cool. He's got a laser sword that's almost a pistol. He's got a flying little scooter and robots and gods. Flying. I've been singing this all day. Flying across the galaxy.
You just wanted to get this one out of the way, didn't you?
No. I don't know
That's
why
this one's shorter than any others.
I don't know why I've been singing the theme song all day. I've not heard it today. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. You can check us out on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I don't know why I'm telling you. If you're already listening to this, I don't know why I'm telling you that. But we are. Check us out. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're on a platform that allows you to review us, we really would appreciate a review or some stars or a like, anything like that. It really does help us with our distribution, and you'll be helping out the show. Thank you very much for that. Join us next time for Ulysses 31. I've been Henry, and joining me on the couch has been Jeremy and
bye
Jennifer.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye, call the exorcist.
And and Reclaire, and that is the most generic, gentle, inoffensive
Oh,
piece
yeah.
of music ever.
Say boo 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 boo.
I've literally listened to that seconds ago, and I couldn't tell you, couldn't give you the melody, I couldn't hum it, anything.
Oh no, yeah, I can't. Thought I would remember the original theme at the beginning, but it's gone from my brain.
Yeah.
Even though I listened to it literally 3 hours ago.
Were you playing the outro
Yes, I always
for?
play the outro when I'm bopping at the end. Sorry, YouTube. They can't hear the music that I play. Only you can, and I. Special for you and me. Right, I'm going to stop the
Lucky.
audio.
Thank you.
There you go, stopped.
You did record 2 channels correctly, right?
Yes, I tested it prior.
Good.
So we were both coming in separate channels. It was great.
Welcome to the after show.
Well, the after show for our shortest episode by far.
Well, Henry's cat was pretty short,
It
like
wasn't.
45 minutes
We
as
had
well.
quite a lot to talk about in Henry's cat, though.
Wait.
Yes, creepy old men hiding in bushes.
Yes. Which one was really short? We did one that was really, really short.
I thought this was the shortest one. I mean, yeah, no. I don't know.
We did another one that was 45 minutes.
I think it was probably one of the early ones.
Anyway,
Irrelevant. Yeah, that was. There's not really a lot to say about Mary Mungo and Midge.
not really.
So let's.
It's a wholesome little show.
It is a wholesome little show.
Well,
Anyway,
we didn't talk a lot about wacky races.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? I remember talking a lot about those shows.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
we did, but like it's only like 45 minutes long. I think Henry's cat's the same.
All right. I mean,
Well, the Brave Star one was only 33 minutes long, but yeah.
yeah, but that's not a proper episode. That was a watch along
No.
episode. Yeah, so if you have a Facebook account, please go follow us. We really appreciate it.
I really should remember to do that.
You should. You really should. Although I've set it up so everything I post to Instagram is automatically posted to Facebook
Yes.
because it's easier.
Oh, I have liked it.
And then I'll drop some other bits on there as and when they occur to me.
Yes.
So let's rate Mary, Mungo and Midge for our back of the box playing cards, which are awesome, and you should go look. There's loads on there now. Funnily enough, this will be the 18th. There's loads of cards on there.
We've been doing this so long.
Yeah, I know. So theme. We spoke about this briefly. I've given it a very neutral 20 because it served a purpose. That's all I've got to say about it, really.
Don't
Jen.
really remember it.
Yeah, go on then, Jeremy. Rate it. The theme.
What did you say? 15?
I said 20 because it served a purpose.
15.
It was gentle and boppy, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't there to get anyone excited or anything.
That's true. So gentle. So post-war Britain. Yeah. So yeah.
You're such an old soul, Jeremy. So
Yeah,
you're happy with 15?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm happy with 15.
This is 1 out of 100.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, we'll rate it out of 100, and then I will average our scores together.
right. And then theme is what really?
Well, it's up to you. It's the opening music. You could include the credits in there as well if you wanted. It's however you
Which
want
would
to.
just bring it down.
Which is. Well, no, I quite liked the credits. The whole. This is a town. These are the people. It was very clearly explained. I can imagine that got wearing after the 4th time you've seen it, but it was very.
Not to a 3-year-old,
I suppose.
or not to you either, because you wouldn't remember. Never remember anything.
Ooh, little after show dig.
I don't remember.
So to you, it would all be brand new each time.
That's why I like children's television.
Yeah, I'd probably have to say about 20 as well.
20. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it did what it said it was going to do on the box.
At least it was better than Wurzel Gummidge.
Yeah, that's not hard.
I always think the Addams Family as well for Wurzel Gummidge.
Well, you two dragged the average down there, so that's it gets an 18 for the theme, which I think is fun. Weirdness. Jennifer can go first this time.
I wouldn't have said it was weird at all.
So you're going to give it enough.
It's going to get 5. I'm sure there was something weird in it. Maybe Mary's eyes
Yeah.
were about as weird as it got.
I gave it a 5 because of Mary's creepy eyes.
Oh, did
Yes.
you? I wish you
I was
married.
going to give it a 15 because of Mary's creepy eyes.
Yeah, so you're going 15. That'll drag that'll drag the average up, which it really needs.
Yeah, and the fact that for the first 5 minutes of the show, I was kind of creeped out by the whole thing.
Creeped out.
Because it seemed uncanny. There was something uncanny about everything. And it just seemed too real.
I didn't think that, but I get where you could come from. Like, it could almost be like a Robot Chicken kind of deal, where they show you this very innocent children's TV show, and then there's like a body hanging up in the closet or something.
Yeah.
It could get dark very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to what I feel is going to be this show's strong points. Educational value, Jeremy.
It might win every single trump of education.
Yeah.
It was pretty educational. 68.9.
Let's have whole numbers, please.
69.
69. Nice.
Eh.
Okay, so 69. I gave it an 85 because, as I said, I think this is far and away the most educational show.
Thinking everyone would put 80, and I wasn't quite sure for that.
I think what it was trying to teach you, it was delivered well. It was delivered clearly. It was repeated. So the kids, it's there. This is this. This is this. This is this. I think it was great. So I gave an 85, which I think is the highest rating I've ever given nearly anything.
I don't know, Nightmare you probably rated.
Apart from Nightmare, which is amazing on all points. 75, Jennifer.
75, yeah. For all the reasons you said, but also the fact that it was delivered with, there was some muted colours on there, but it's tau colours, but the music as well to back everything up. So yeah, it was very educational.
Yeah. So as predicted, that gives it an average rating of a 76, which is by far and away the highest score under educational.
Oh yeah.
So if you're playing the game, that's a good dark horse card to pull out.
Bust out for education.
Yeah. And then Jennifer, overall impact. How you interpret that isn't up to you.
Well, I'm probably going to say
50. 50 out of 100. Because I never watched it, but I'd heard of it, I knew of it. The name Mary, Mungo and Midge is quite synonymous with British kids' TV of the 60s. Yeah, I think it's pretty impactful as children's TV, old school. Yeah, okay, so there wasn't loads of games, there wasn't loads of this, but I guarantee there were books in the 60s.
I couldn't find many, but yeah.
Yeah, but there would be educational books. There'd be like
A bit
like Richard Scarry and stuff like that from the 80s and 90s.
I could see a series of books based on this, like See Spot Run for preschool children, like
Yeah, for school books.
see Midge play the pipe or whatever. So a 50 for impact. Well, I gave it a 33 on the basis that I quite appreciate it for what it is, and the fact that the first time I mentioned it to someone that we were recording this episode, they immediately went, Mary Mungo and Midge. I remember that one. So there was a bit of,
Yeah.
you're getting a bit of some second-hand points there. So I gave it a 33, so I think that's a quite nice score for it. Jeremy, round us off here.
Yeah. 30s. I want to say 34, just because it's better than you. I think, but pretty much for the exact same reasons. But I'd never heard of. I mean, I had heard of it, but I never knew what it really was.
I hadn't.
So yeah, that's about it. I mean,
Well, I
nothing
think that
special,
gives Mary Mungo and Midge.
does its job.
It gives it a very respectable 39.
Yeah.
So overall, I think we liked that one. I think we genuinely liked it. We weren't weirded out by it.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was all right.
Did the job.
Right, that's enough of that. Ulysses 31. Did you watch
You're
Ulysses?
so excited.
You
Yeah.
did. All right.
You do know.
I do know I did. I've told you that.
But you've already stated that I don't remember anything. So,
I was just about to say
have
that.
you ever watched it?
No.
Oh, this is going to be so fun.
I'll ask my housemates if he's ever watched it, because he's watched loads of shows from the 80s.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
It was
because
very cold.
he's
This
from
was-
Italy, and they only show 80s shows there, apparently. They're about 10 years behind.
This was very much Mysterious Cities of Gold, Ulysses
Yeah.
31. I've forgotten the other one.
You want what? Not Brave Star. What's the other Cowboys? Rangers.
You mean Battle of the
The
Bands?
Cowboys in
Not Battle of
space.
It sits in a very specific spot in children's TV
Oh, City
shows.
of Gold?
The Mysterious City, I just said that one. Mysterious Cities of Gold. was
Where's
that
what is that cowboy one?
the other cowboy one? It's like,
Not Brave Star.
Not Brave Star.
They're like the Four Horsemen, but the Cowboys and they're Space Rangers.
It is. Let me go to the list. I can't remember. So you might not be able to see this, but this is the list of all the show. This is the list. This is the master list. So each one of those
Yes.
is a show that we have to watch. So I can just keep going, and going, and going. Oh look, there's some more. No, let's just keep going. These are all the shows that we have to choose from. Let's still going.
How old are we going to be? 80 by the time we
Still
finish
going.
this?
There we go. I can't remember what that other.
You're going to be 80, aren't you?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yep. I think it was like 36 years. If we don't miss any, if we release twice a month and we don't miss anything, it will take us about 36 years to watch everything. And I added 2 more today.
Until we can release serial viewing once per day.
Yeah, do that. Support us.
Yeah, and we'll release it.
And we'll do it every day. I'll do this as a full-time job. You can have one every day.
Maybe we'll move it until once a week, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. What else to
Yeah.
say? We'll catch you next time. Please like, comment. This is YouTube, so like, comment, and subscribe. I really hate saying that, but I have to say it. It's contractual.
Please.
Leave us a review wherever you can, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much, guys. Jennifer, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jeremy, say goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.